Hello there, it's Ian from RTL here, and welcome to another edition of Then and Now. Now, today's band in the spotlight are an American band that really didn't hit the big time. They were borderline. We're talking about Dokken. They were formed in 1978 in Los Angeles. The co-founders were Don Dokken on the vocals, George Lynn on lead guitar, Mick Brown on drums, and Juan Groscia, who then went on to become a member of Rat. So their debut album, Breaking the Chains, it's got a bit of a history, this one, which is it's a weird one. It was released in Europe in 1981. It was called Breaking the Chains, but it was spelt different. There's some different tracks and different titles of songs that were different from the US version. Now, Paris is Burning, which was on the remix, is a live version, but on the original release it was a studio version. Now, I can't find any versions of these. I've looked everywhere. There's a track called We're Legal, but that turned into another track called Live to Rock, Rock to Live. So they decided to partly remix it in 1983, change the lineup a little bit. Now, it's on over the two albums. The people that are credited to playing on this are Don Dokken, lead vocals, rhythm guitar, lead guitar, George Lynch, lead guitar, Mick Brown on the drums, Juan Groscia was bass, backing vocals, and co-lead vocals on We're Legal. Additional musicians was Peter Boltz, original bass in 1981, Tom Groscia, bass 1981. Produced by, engineered and mixed by Michael Wagner. So I'll just quickly run through the original track listing. We have Breaking the Chain, Seven Thunders, I Can't See You, In the Middle, We're Illegal, Paris, Stick to Your Guns, Young Guns, Felony, and Nightrider. Okay, so then they redid the remix from 1983, and that's the one we're going to be looking at. So the first track is Breaking the Chains. This is a really good track. I like the riffs on this. It's a pretty good. In the Middle, it's about par for 80s rock. That production is just not as good as it could have been. It's a shame. It's a shame because it is a pretty good track. Felony, really good bass line on this. Nice riffs on it. But that production lets it down. I Can't See You. Oh, this is just typical of the period. 80s rock dribble. Oh, I just didn't get it. I didn't like it. Then we get Live to Rock, Rock to Live, which was called Remember We're Illegal on the original album. Probably the best track on here. It's proper heavy metal rock and roll, and the production isn't too bad. Then we get Nightrider. This had the potential to be a really good track, but what let it down again was that production. Clean, plastic, and it just doesn't justify rock at all, that sound. I know I keep going on about it, but that's how I see it. Seven Thunders, again a really strong track, but very tinny. Guitar solo's quite shallow. It's just a shame because I do like the track. Young Girls, a great bass line on this, bad production. Stick to Your Guns, a great bass line again, They sort of actually got it right on this. It doesn't sound too bad. Then we get Paris is Burning, recorded in Berlin in 1982. This sounds really good. It did prove that Dokken sounded better live than in the studio. There's a little bit more richness to it. It's a little bit more heavy. Them guitars are a little bit raw. So it's a good track. I do like that one. Like so many albums, this is what I think of it. So many albums in the 80s, the production is just terrible. It's tinny, the drums don't sound right, and it's a shame because there are some really strong tracks on this. Okay, what did everyone think about it? Well, the album that was released didn't go down to around. Now the original one, again, it only reached 136 on the Billboard, and the album was considered a flop. But for some reason they managed to convince the record label, because they changed to Elektra, and they said, look, give us one more chance. Although Breaking the Trains later on in life became the 62nd greatest hard rock song by VH1, well, that's no great feat. And then it was featured in the radio station V-Rock on the video game Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Apparently, this is what George Lynch says, there was only 500 copies of the original album. So what did the people think of it? Well, AllMusic gave it 2 3/4 stars, and the Collector's Guide to Heavy Metal gave it a 7 out of 10. So, and I don't think it even charted in the UK. That's how bad it got published. So let's have a look at the nuts and bolts of this one. So song quality, I think there's some really good songs on here. Good old-fashioned rock, glam rock, metal songs. No problem with that. I think it's pretty cool. So I'm going to give this song quality 4 out of 5. Production, as usual, 1980s rock production was just not that good in places. Although there is some potential with these songs, and they got it right on a couple of the tracks, like Breaking the Chains as an example. So I'm going to give it, for production, 3 out of 5. Reception. Now, I don't mind the album, it's pretty cool. But everyone else, it just flopped like a wilted plant that's been left out in the sun too long. It's a shame. So I can only give it a ranking of 2 out of 5 for reception, which gives us a grand total of only 9 out of 15 for an album that is so underrated. Because it has got some good tracks on it, and I've heard some of these tracks live, and they are really good. They are really good tracks. So let's get in the time machine. Move on 31 years to the 11th studio album, released in 2012, Broken Bones. By this time, people had moved on. So this features a session drummer, because Mick Brown couldn't record due to scheduling conflict, so he hadn't left the band. And it was the only album that featured Sean McNabb on bass. Production was from Darian Randall and Bob St. John. And let's have a look at the tracks. First track, Empire. Cracking song. Great riffs. Don Dokken's vocals still sound good, even after 31 years. Pretty good. Title track, Broken Bones. Love this. The sound's great. It's got great. It's just a great heavy metal song. Really good. Best to me, this has got a thumping bass line. Just what you expect in heavy metal. Really, really strong. Blind. Again, great start to the record. Great thumping bass line with a great guitar solo from John Levin, who's the guitarist at the moment. Waterfall, that's all right. Victim of the Crime, my favourite track on here. It's quite eerie in places, and it does help with that eerie vocal from Don Dokken. Pretty solid track. Burning Tears is the next one. Starts off with a little bit of acoustic guitar and then goes into some great strong riffs. Pretty cool track. Then we get a cover version of Jefferson Airplane's Today. It's not a bad effort. Not a bad effort at all. They kept it to its sort of original sort of arrangement, and it's pretty good. And Don does a great vocal on that. For the Last Time, sounds okay. Fade Away, yeah, it's not too bad. And then Tonight, it's another good strong track to end the album with some solid drumming. I think this is a very underrated album from a very underrated band. There's not a bad really a bad track on this album. Okay, the last three are a little bit weaker, but they're not bad weak. So how did it do? It didn't do very well. It's such a shame. It sold very poor in America and only managed to get to 173. I feel sorry for bands like this. They have been around such a long time, and they've done a lot of support acts, and they've toured, and they've made some good music. But I don't know why people just didn't get them. I've got one or two bits by Dokken, but not a great deal. But I just feel for them. I mean, their live albums are pretty good. It's such a shame, such a shame. So let's look at the nuts and bolts of this one. Song quality, again, some very good songs. Not a weak song at all. Good quality lyrics. So I'll give it a 4 out of 5. Production, excellent production. Good sounding album. The bass line is great on this. If you look at that first album, it was tinny. This is bold and deep, and it's really good. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Reception, it sank without a trace, really. So I can only give it a 3. I'm giving it a 3 because I think it's a good album. So that gives us a total of 11. So it beats the debut album, which is a shame, because they are pretty good. I've actually, instead of just putting a few songs from the two albums, I'm going to put a song on from every album to give you like a filler of what Dokken can do, because I think they deserve a little bit of love. Okay, so we'll have to have a look at the albums in between and pick out some of the tracks, and one of these will actually appear in the playlist today. So in 1984, after pleading with Elektra, Don Dokken was allowed to make another album, and it's Tooth and Nail, released in 1984. First album with the Jeff Bilson after Juan Crucia's departure. So we got Don Dokken, George Lynch, Jeff Pilson and Mick Brown. First track on here is Without Warning. It's a instrumental. It's only a minute and a half, but it's got some nice little riffs in it. Tooth and Nail, great track, absolutely belter track. Then we get Just Got Lucky, Heartless Heart, they're okay. Don't Close Your Eyes, another good track. There's good drumming here from Mick Brown. He's actually got, the production on here is a little bit better than the debut album, but it's still not perfect. Then we get When Heaven Comes Down, Into the Fire, Bullets to Spare, Alone Again, Turn on the Action. Not a bad album. Not a bad album at all. Then we get to 1985, sorry. Under Lock and Key, the third album, released in 1985. Same lineup, Don Dokken, George Lynch, Jeff Pilson and Mick Brown. Unchain the Night, one of them MTV hits, pretty good. The Hunter, quite like this one, pretty good. In My Dreams. Slipping Away, Lightning Strikes Again, great track, bad production. It's Not Love, Jaded Heart, Don't Lie, Will the Sunrise, Till the Living End. Great drumming on here. It's just pretty that the production's a bit poor. This was an album which is a bit more commercial. I think they're trying to hit that MTV audience. It's very commercial, but Unchain the Night's pretty good, and the Lightning Strikes is okay if it wasn't for the production. Then we go to 1987 for Back for the Attack. Same lineup, but it's actually credited on the drums as Wild Mick. Don't know why. Kiss of Death opens up the album. Prisoner, Night by Night, not a bad track. Got some great solo on it and some nice juicy riffs. Standing in the Shadows, okay. Heaven Sent, great vocal from Don Dokken on this, pretty good deep track. Mr. Scary, it's an instrumental, heavy. Nice guitar work from Mr. Lynch. So Many Tears is on here. Burning Like a Flame, Lost Behind the Wall, Stop Fighting Love, Cry of the Gypsy, Sleepless Night and Dream Warriors. My favourite track on this album. Pretty good. Then we have That Break, and then 1995 we have Dysfunctional. Now this should have been, was intended again to be a Don Dokken solo album. I don't know if this is the record company putting their sixpenneth in as usual, but it's amazing that George Lynch was brought back into the fold and Jeff Pilson was and Mick Brown, so we had to be called Dokken. And it is a pretty good album in places. Looking inside, looking out, love this track. Very deep bass. The production's totally changed, and it's a pretty good rock track. Like Hole in My Head and The Maze, very good tracks. Too High to Fly, solid. Nothing left to say, it's okay. Shadows of Life's okay. Long Way From Home is great. It's got some great riffs here from George Lynch. Sweet Chains, Lesser of Two Evils. Love the beginning of this record. It's got some great riffs in it again, and the bass line just drives this song nicely. What Price, again Mick Brown on the drums, is awesome. Then we get a cover. Now when I saw what this cover was, I went, ooh, this is going to be interesting. It's from the beginning, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I thought, what are they going to do to this? And when I listened to it, I was shocked, because they do a good job of it. They've not taken anything away from the original sound. They've made it a little bit deeper, of course, because it's heavy metal, but it's in the same vein, and I like it. Okay, 1997 then. We've got Shadowlife. Changing direction, become towards more alternative rock. They say this is one of the weakest albums, and it was the last album that featured George Lynch. I do quite agree. There's some good tracks on here, but it's a lot of it. It's not. It's the total turnaround in music style just didn't work for them, I don't think. Puppet on a String's good. Best track on the album. Hello. I mean, let's go down. Sorry, I'm jumping the gun here. Cracks in the Ground's alright. Sky Beneath My Feet. I didn't like that one. Until I Know, again awful. Unfortunately. Hello, great bass line on. This is more like it. It's a bit funky. It's very extreme funk, not than Chili Peppers funk, but pretty good. Convenience Store, Messiah, it's okay. I Feel, yeah. Here I Stand, another pretty cool track, got a great riff in that. Sweet Life, one of their heaviest songs I've heard by these. Great riff and drum line, thumping bass, love that. Bitter Regret, I Don't Mind, Until I Know, How Many Lives, Deep Waters and Razor, Slate. They go on a Deep Water, sorry. They go on a little bit filler. Not the best tracks. 1999, Erase the Slate came out. First album to feature former Winger guitarist Red Beach. It went on to go with Whitesnake, and the last one with bassist Jeff Pilson. So we got Don Dokken, Red Beach, Jeff Pilson and Mick Brown. This is a great album. I think Red Beach is the man on here. Erase the Slate, great track, great opening guitar, some brilliant guitar work from Red Beach on that one. Then we get Change the World, Maddis Hatter. The harmonies on this are brilliant. It sounds like extreme to start with, then the harmonies, and then you get some great riffs and licks from Reb. Excellent guitar player. Drown, great track, shredding all over it. Red Beach, On Fire. Shattered, then One Who Believes. Voice of the Soul, more thumping bass line from Jeff Pilson here, and some great stuff from Mr. Beach. Crazy Mary Goes Round, Haunted Lullaby, In Honour. Bit of a mad dash one that is, it's a bit silly. Okay, 2002 then, Long Way From Home. This is a good album as well. It features John Norum from Europe, and first featuring the bassist Barry Sparks. So we've got Don Dokken, John Norum, Barry Sparks and Mick Brown. Sunless Days. Oh, John, you know that this is John Norum from the minute you hear it. His guitar style. I mean, as you know, I'm quite a big fan of Europe, and I love John Norum's guitar work, and he's brilliant on that one. Little Girl's a little bit weak. Every Day, Everybody Needs to Be With Someone. Love this song. John Norum, class act. More solid riffs than John Norum on this. You can't beat his guitar riffs. Goodbye My Friend, Magic Road. Again, I just love John Norum's guitar work on this. Brilliant stuff. Then there was a time. It's okay. Then we get another cover. We get Heart Full of Soul from the Yardbirds, and again it's a half decent cover. Under the Gun, best track on the album, John Norum at his best. Hive Found, pretty decent. That takes us to 2004. Another changing guitarist. This is the first studio album that featured John Levin. So we got Don Dokken, John Levin, Barry Sparks and Mick Brown. The Last Goodbye opened the album. Don't Bring Me Down. Quirky little number, some nice riffs here. Good drumming as from Mick Brown as usual. Escape. I love this track. Absolutely belting. One of them thumping bass lines, some great riffs. Absolutely brilliant track. Haunted, that's alright. Prozac Nation, I just couldn't get on with that one. Care For You, very mellow, nice tune. Better Off Before's okay. Still I'm Sad, nothing to do with the Yardbirds. I can't remember if I got that right. I Surrender, nothing to do with Rainbow. Letter to Home, very Beatles in place. It's got a great solo. Can You See, reasonable track. Then it takes us to 2008 to Lightning Strike. Came out in 2008. Same lineup as the previous album. Dokken, Levin, Sparks and Brown. That's not a very good album. I don't know what went wrong. Standing on the Outside, Give Me a Reason, Heart of Stone. Disease, it's an okay track, got a good solo on it. How I Miss Your Smile. Oasis, No Point of Return, nice track, got a good vocal from Dom. Still strong singing as ever. And then we get I Remember, it's okay. Judgment Day, a great track, great riffing, like that one. It Means, it's okay. Release Me, bog standard rock, and This Fire's the Same. As I said at the top of the show, this is a band that just didn't really make it. There's a lot of people that like Dokken. I know there's a lot of Dokken fans out there. And that's one reason I've decided to do this show, because they need a little bit more love, because they have made some good tracks and good albums. I mean, I've only got a couple of their albums. I've got, and what I've got of them, I like them, and now I've listened to all of their albums. Most of them are on Spotify, so go and give them a listen, give them a little bit of love. But you'll be surprised. I think this at Dokken is a band you either like or you don't. There's no, oh, you're sitting on the fence with this one. You either love them or hate them. Give them a listen and put your comments in below. See if we can see how many other people like Dokken and who don't. I don't sit on the fence. I don't mind them. I like their live stuff more. They're a good live band. Okay. Another show to do. We've got the album artwork, and as a certain album by Jethro Tull is out in next Friday. The new Jethro Tull album is out, so we know what the following Friday we'll be doing. We'll be reviewing that new album. But to get us geared up and ready for the new Jethro Tull album, we're going to look at their covers. Now, this is a little bit different from normal. There are so many albums by Jethro Tull, compilation box sets. We'd be here until next Friday. So today we're looking at the Jethro covers of my Jethro Tull collection. I've still got 30 odd, but it's better than 40 or 50. So we're going to look at so today you're going to have a look at what I've got by Jethro Tull, basically. And then we've got a live stream about 8 o'clock tonight with updates and what's happening next week. So I hope you can join me for that. Until then, bye for now.